Okay, so in this video tutorial, what we're going to do is step into RAW, and I'm going to start talking about the panels and uses and functions of the Adobe Camera Raw interface in more detail. So the first thing that we're going to focus on is just previewing the space and getting an overview of those functions. So I'm going to start off with the image 5402 and then do Command R to open it up, or you can use the aperture blades up in the upper left. But using both of those functions bypasses Photoshop. So now traditionally that opens RAW in its semi-contracted form, so you can either expand it so that the box fills in your screen space, or you can do enter full screen so that you're not confused by the menu bar of Adobe Bridge. So that's the way I like to work. That way I just have a unified space and nothing else is competing with my graphics or my sliders and things like that. So for previewing the space in Adobe Camera Raw, as a common function in Photoshop, you have your zoom tool, the Z key, or your hand tool, the H key. The zoom tool, as always, allows you to zoom in on a subject. When you click on a subject, the zoom tool will zoom in by its default percentages inward. Then if you hold down the Option key as a temporary modifier, it turns your zoom tool into a zoom in to a zoom out. So then if I click now, I zoom out to its full size. And then I can go beyond that to make it smaller. And then also you have Command 0. Command 0 fits the image to the screen, and then that will give you the fit percentage down below. Now, moving down there, with the fit percentage down below, you have your plus and minus keys. So you have just an automatic zoom in, zoom out based on the default zoom levels. So where are the default zoom levels? They're under your zoom menu. So when you click on the zoom menu, you have these default levels. And some of these are helpful, based on what graphics you're looking at. But for photo editing and photo previewing, 100% is a very good way to preview your photos. Number one, if you zoom at 100% and your image stays the size that it is on the screen, it's probably too small to preview unless you have a very large pixel dimension for your screen. If you're working on a Pro Graphics monitor or a monitor that's very high resolution, it still may remain small, but it also depends on your image pixel dimension size. So if you have a small thumbnail web graphic, there won't be much zoom that you can get at 100%. But if you're working with a large, like 50 megapixel graphic, you'll be looking very closely in it based on your screen settings and things like that. So you have the zoom functions there. And then again, you can Command 0 to fit to screen. But also, you have a context menu for zooming. If you have the zoom tool over an image and you right-click or control-click, it gives you the context menu of the default zoom levels like down below, and you can navigate there. So I commonly use them when I'm working in the zoom space and my default, kind of adjustments, because I could just get in and out really quickly to 100% and use my Command 0 to get back out to fit to screen. But lastly, you can also use your Command minus and Command plus keys. When you do Command minus, it does the default zoom levels outward, and when you do Command plus, it zooms inward, and then you can use Command 0 to get back to fit to window. So those are the primary zoom levels. The place that the Command minus and Command plus work really well with is when you're working with other tools besides the zoom tool and you need to zoom in. So you don't have all of those same zoom functions. You do have the manual routes, but I feel that's a nice keyboard quick shortcut so that you can be zooming in and out when either you're cropping or doing adjustments or things like that. And the hand tool, obviously, when you zoom in, your space is too large to navigate with your cursor, so you hold down the space bar, and that allows you to maintain your zoom level and move around the image to check, different parts for focus or just to evaluate the whole thing, but at ideally 100% zoom level so that you're seeing what it will look like at print resolution, and then you can identify blurriness, like there is a significant amount here due to the shutter speed on my image, and that's that. So that is previewing the main working space with the zoom tool and hand tool and using some of the manual functions to do so. So in the next tutorial, yeah, we'll be continuing with the other panels.